Welcome to the Not All Live in Light podcast. I'm your host, Romy Moreno, and today we have Bryant Del Torro, musician, songwriter, actor, activist, human, one of my favorite people. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I love you too.
I'm so excited to have you on today because you're just such a beautiful human. I know. I really mean it though. So your energy is so amazing. Even watching you perform and seeing how you light up a room and the energy. And every time I bring someone around, they love you so much. And they're like, wow, he's actually really good. And I'm like, yes, what do you think? Talking shit?
Yeah. Oh my God, he's actually good.
Yeah, he's actually good. And I'm like, yes.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I want you to share a little bit about who you are, what you do, all that good stuff.
My name is Bryant Del Torro. I am a singer-songwriter, Florida boy, born and bred. Born in Miami, raised up in Gainesville. But yeah, I just try to send out my brand of feel-good music out into the universe and hopefully affect people the same way that music that's important to me has affected me. So apart from that, I dabble in acting, I write, but mostly music. That's my main.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we met. You were performing at a party that I was hosting at Vine, and I was just like, you're booked for my birthday.
Yeah.
And literally that night.
Yeah, you booked me that night. No, and it's so funny too, because like when I went to the party, I remember you guys were like, all right, there's a musician coming, cool, whatever. Yeah. And then I start setting up and they're like, oh, I hope he's good. Da, da, da. And then I started and you guys were like, whoa. And then the party was awesome. I remember everybody was dancing, everybody was having a good time. I think I played the amount that I was like contractually obligated to play. And then everybody was like, stay more. And
yeah, you totally went over.
Yeah.
But you were like so happy about it.
I had a blast. And then your party, like everybody already knew what to expect. So I had to up the ante and it was cool, man. It
was amazing. Yeah. I mean, I love it. I still watch the videos from my birthday party. It was great. Awesome. So what is it that you're currently working on right now?
Okay, so I don't have a particular project right now. I'll talk a little bit as to why I don't have a particular project first. I recorded my album between 2018 and 2019, more or less. It was done by 2020. So I was going to release it, I think, September of 2019, I think. And then my dad had a stroke. So I was like, okay, we're going to put this on pause. I'm going to take care of my family, make sure everything's okay. My dad, thank God. I knock on wood, but I don't want it to come out on the I'll do that. No, my dad's awesome. Like, he's okay. He's mobile. He's verbal. It's fantastic. So I was like, all right, cool. 2020. Awesome. I'm going to release it. I think it was like February, March. I was like, I'm going to release the album. Boom. Global pandemic, you know? And I released it anyway because in my mind, I figured, okay, everybody's at home. They can't escape it. There's nowhere to go. So they're going to listen to it. And people loved it and it worked out really well. But just working on that project left such a bad taste in my mouth that I've been very hesitant to fully dive into something that's a long-term commitment or basically like just a very heavy project. Like, okay, we're going to do 12 songs and it's going to have everything that I'm doing right now is, okay, I'm working with this producer to create this vibe. I'm working on this producer to create this. So that's the tip that I'm on right now is just like figuring out what the next step is and just kind of a little smorgasbord. I'm going to try this, a little bit of this, and just see what sticks.
But I mean, you just released it in 2020. Like it's still very much current.
Yes and no. So yes, it's current because, man, okay, this is I noticed you cussed earlier, so this is the shit.
Oh yeah.
That like
fun fact, I had your uncle here last week.
Yeah.
And that's the only episode that I didn't say a single cuss word because I respect him so much.
No, and it's not only respect, he's such a like angelic figure that you're like,
I can't even say shit.
Exactly. No. So what we'll talk about my uncle later. I love you. This is the topic that I wanted to talk about with you because this is something that's on my brain just like on constant rotation right now. So it's new in the sense of, it came out in 2020. So it's still fresh and relatively new and it's new to the audience that it's being exposed to. But in the realm of entertainment, yeah, it's already old. Because I don't know the exact amount, but I think it's like 600,000 songs get released on Spotify a day.
That's a lot.
A day. That's insane.
Yeah.
I could be exaggerating on the number, but I know it's some like insane blasphemeric, that's not a word. Astronomical amount. So imagine I'm an independent artist. I'm not signed with the label. You know, everything is not on a shoestring budget, but it's out of my own pocket. I don't have financial backing in that sense, which gives me the creative liberty to do whatever the hell I want. I don't have somebody going, we need something that'll sound good as a ringtone. We need something that's TikTok friend. I don't have that. I'm not tied down. But I'm also not backed powerfully enough to reach Ed Sheeran, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Drake levels of promotion. So how do you release something and then not get lost in the ether? And then I was at a very, very good friend of mine's house. He's an incredible producer. Big Red, I love you. Mm-hmm. Last night, and we were talking about that, and I was like, man, it's insane to me. There's no music with a stayability anymore. Okay? So apart from my original stuff, I play at weddings and I do corporate events. Obviously, I did your birthday. And to this day, these companies and these groups are still doing Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. They're still doing Single Ladies by Beyonce, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Michael Jackson.
Back that ass up.
Back that ass up, exactly. Juvenile. But these songs are, if not close to, already over 10 years old. So the only artists that are creating music that's party in the sense of like, oh, this could be played at a wedding, this could be played at a quinces, is Dua Lipa, maybe Doja Cat, Harry Styles, and Lizzo. All right? Lizzo, Harry Styles, and Dua Lipa. Apart from that, like I'll talk about him in a second. Beyonce and Drake, their albums are great, but it's not being played on the radio. People aren't going, oh my God, play Virgo Season by Beyonce. They're not doing that. They want to hear Single Ladies and they want to hear Love on Top.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the number one selling artist right now is Bad Bunny. And I particularly don't like Bad Bunny. I don't think that's quality music. Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good. But he's selling and people like it. But a band, like an actual live band, can't perform that type of music. That music is solely relegated to a DJ.
Yeah.
So then I was talking to Carlos, and Carlos goes, Ryan Tedder. Do you know who Ryan Tedder is?
No, I don't.
Ryan Tedder is the lead singer of One Republic.
Okay.
Okay, but he's one of the most prolific, important, and talented songwriters of our generation. Ryan Tedder has Halo by Beyonce. Mm-hmm. He wrote that.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm trying to think, but like he writes for everybody. Like all the major hits that you've heard in the last like 10, 15 years either are inspired by or directly written from or by Ryan Tedder. So Ryan Tedder did a live recently. I was told, I didn't see it. And he's like, there's no anthems anymore. Nobody's writing anthems. And I thought about it and I was like, God damn, he's right. Like perfect example, because this week it's September 21st. September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. You have that like it's already building up, so you get that intro, right?
Yeah.
And then, do you remember the 21st night? Everybody, no matter where you play it, goes, do you remember? Something like da 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 felt so good, so good, so good. Mm-hmm. Sweet Caroline, that's an anthem. Billie Jean, an anthem. Even I got Can't Stop the Feeling, Uptown Funk. Those are anthems. Those are songs that everybody sings. And I think I'm gonna sound like an old head right now. I'm gonna sound like an old fart, but I think TikTok has ruined the music industry because now people, especially what's considered the alpha generation, which is the next generation, doesn't have the ability to listen to a song longer than X amount of time.
30 seconds.
Exactly. So it's already happening that popular music, starts with the hook, does one verse, chorus again, the hook, out. So I think in the next maybe like 10 years, songs are going to be maybe a minute and a half.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
That's fucking crazy. And yeah, it is because of TikTok. Because the song could be shit, but they come up with a little dance to it, and that's it. It blows up.
And the other thing too is like, think of an artist who's released a song that has stuck. Think about it. The only person that comes to mind right now is Bruno. Mm-hmm. That's it. You know? Because like, for instance, Justin Bieber released Peaches. I love Peaches. I love Daniel Caesar. But nobody's singing it. Nobody requests it. It was a good song. Cool. Rihanna, like all of Rihanna's songs, except for maybe Diamonds. Is it Diamonds? Yeah, it might be Diamonds. None of her music sticks. You know? So it's a super interesting place right now.
Wow, I've never even thought of that.
So that's where my brain is at. You know? That's where my head is at. My head is at, do I focus on being innovative? Because I'm still young, you know? Oh, talking about innovative. I talk a lot, but it's a podcast, which is kind of what you want.
Yes.
You know who I absolutely admire and respect right now?
Who?
Elton John.
Yes.
Elton John. Elton John has forever been one of my favorite singer-songwriters, performers, troubadours of all time. Elton John had the foresight to be like, you know what? I no longer have the ability to create a hit that will be on the radio. But I understand that my music is beloved to this day. So I'm going to take my hits, grab the artists that are killing the game right now, and re-release it. So he released that song with Dua Lipa that has the hook from Rocket Man, because I'm a Rocket Man, Rocket Man, da-da-da. And he's like top 5 of the charts right now.
Yeah, that song is killing it.
How many years late? Decades. How many decades later? And then he just released Tiny Dancer with Britney Spears.
That's really smart.
That's genius. He understands the limits of his ability as an artist and goes, okay, this is how I need to adapt. This is how I need to evolve. So even with my own original content, that's what I'm thinking right now. Like, I don't want to be left behind, but I also don't want to bend the knee to what's popular. I will never, ever release a Bad Bunny-esque track because I am an actual genuine singer-songwriter. And I'm not throwing shade at him. For the market and the demographic of what he does, he's number one. He's killing it.
You know, I'm very upset that Copper Blues has completely fucked Thursday nights.
I know. We'll talk about that in a second. And please circle back in our episode of this podcast to that conversation, because I, as the performer on Thursday nights, have a lot to say. But yeah, like, I will never write a TikTok song. And, you know, it's not because I can't. It's because I purposely choose not to. I'm the guy that buys the album, pours myself a drink, and I sit down and I listen to the album. Because that's how I was raised. That's how I grew up.
Yeah, it goes against what your values are.
Yeah.
And anything that goes, regardless of what's popular,
yeah,
you're going to stick to what your values are, which is very admirable, because a lot of people don't fucking do that shit.
But see, what might be admirable to you might seem, you know, like, oh, he's old. Oh, he doesn't want to keep up with the times. Because, like, again, I talk to my dad all the time about hip-hop and R&B and stuff. Well, not R&B, but hip-hop and rap. And my dad is from that generation where he goes, eso no es música. That's not music, you know? And I'm starting to notice that I and my group of friends from my age and, you know, our generation go, that doesn't hit, man. That doesn't bop. That's not real. That's not genuine. That's not. So I'm repeating the same stuff that my dad repeated. So the conversations that I'm having internally with myself are, is it a generational gap, or is there validity in what people are saying? You know? So my dad grew up in a time where it was Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Luis Miguel, Michael Jackson, The Police, Foreigner, you know, Genesis. These are musical groups. In the hip hop community, they took music, they sampled songs, and then rhymed on top of that, which I see artistic creativity in that in and of itself. But now it's gotten out of hand. Because before they would just take the beat. A perfect example that I give people all the time is "Rock This Way" by Run DMC or whatever. They just took the music from Aerosmith and just rapped on top of it, and then like the rap from "This Is How We Do It" with Montel Jordan is rhythmically a copy of Slick Rick's Childhood Story. So there's a difference between paying homage and being like, oh, what came before? Yo, but what's happening now is just disrespectful. You know, you got like, what's his name? Harlow? Jack Harlow? I forget his name. He took Fergie's Flossie song.
Clumsy.
No, not Clumsy. No, High Class.
Yeah.
That's it's in a high class. And he just like literally copied and pasted. Like he didn't even switch anything up. He didn't like, you know, I don't know, whatever, like slowed it down and reverbed it. Like
it's the same.
It's the same
it's
thing.
A glamorous song. It's
Glamorous.
The
same
that's the one. Thing. Yeah.
What's her name? Not Cardi B.
This just happened with Beyonce with the Milkshake song. There was a whole
Khalees.
With Khalees, like a whole ass drama that she had used like her music, and she went after like Pharrell and all of these people because there was no permission, there was nothing, and it was just.
So she just straight up took the music and used it.
Mm-hmm.
I
think Lizzo did something like that too. I'm not sure.
It's gotten out of hand. I wasn't talking about Lizzo. I was talking about oh my God, the other female rapper that's really good. She dated Drake, allegedly.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, Nicki. So Nicki Minaj used a sample from Rick James. You know what I mean? And it como es un abuso. Use a part of it. Use a piece of it. You know what I mean?
Not the whole song.
Not the whole song.
Like a layer.
Yeah.
Not the whole fucking song.
Yeah. So the producer I was with last night, Big Red, and we were talking about Prince and how Prince, there's videos in the late 80s, early 90s, Prince warning us about the abuse of samples.
Really?
Yeah.
Fun fact, both of my kids were born to Prince.
Conceived or born?
Born.
Okay.
And it was not intentional. Two different doctors, they just both happened to be playing like When Doves Cry.
Really?
Like, is this a sign?
Okay, I'm confused. So you're like at the hospital and he just like...
Yeah, they're just playing music while they're doing surgery, you know, because I had 2 C-sections.
Okay.
And yeah, both doctors think Prince.
Just Prince?
7 years apart. 2 different hospitals, 2 different doctors. I'm like, this is weird.
You know what you have to do? You have to take your kids to Minnesota and like go to Paisley Park and be like, guys, you're born because of this guy. Like, he's the reason you exist. All hail Prince. Like,
All hail Prince. That's hilarious.
So yeah, you were asking me about my projects. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Is just
just be in the flow.
Yeah. So I'm working with Paolo Angulo, who's the producer of my first ever record, album, EP, things that used to be. I'm working with some other friends and just like I'm doing stuff on my own for the first time in my life because I've always composed and then taken my music to a producer and gone, I wrote this song. Let's make it sound pretty, you know? Mm-hmm. And now this is the first time where I have a home studio and I'm playing the drums. I'm playing the bass. I'm recording the keys. I'm doing the guitar. I'm looking at tempos and just alone, just by myself. Nobody else to bounce my ideas off of.
I'm so excited. I just want to hear it all.
It's interesting because I'm absolutely obsessed with collaboration. I think if you're collaborating with the right people who genuinely take care of your heart, I think that's very important. And I think a lot of producers forget how sensitive creatives are because they're thinking from a technical aspect. I think it's a beautiful kind of cacophony of, okay, we're going to take this song and evolve it to the next step. Because as a songwriter, okay, cool, I wrote this, I like this. But maybe there's something that doesn't work and you don't see that. You need the producer to tell you that. And it's a tug of war, it's a push and pull. A story that I tell people all the time is, you know my song Losing That Girl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have this,
along.
Thank you. So I have this song called Losing That Girl on my second album, okay? And when I wrote it, I was like, this song's great. Like I had a Kanye moment. I'm like, I'm the shit. This song's great. I started playing it live and seeing the reactions of the crowd. And people would come up to me going, where can I download that song? Where's that song? It's not out yet. It's not out yet. It's not out yet. But people loved it. When I introduced the song to the team that I recorded my second album with, they go, no. You're not a country artist. That one shouldn't go on the album. And I had to fight tooth and nail to put that song on the album. And they go, bro, you got a gospel song, you got an R&B song, you got like a reggae-esque song, and now you're going to throw this random country song? No, it won't work. I go, guys, and this is when I pulled out like the executive order card, and I go, I'm not asking permission to put this song on the album. It's going on the album, okay? And we just need to give it sonically the best respect that we can. And let me tell you, to this day, that's the song
I love that
that
song.
people request.
Yeah.
That's the song that people sing along to the most. And it's so interesting because I saw it from one light and they saw it from another light. And vice versa. There's things that I think are going to work and sound great that they go, hey, maybe that's not it. So I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous producing music by myself because there's always a chance that I can be wrong, you know? But unless you do it, you don't know.
Right.
And if it fails, the blame is solely 100% on me, and that's okay.
Yeah. Fail forward. Fail forward.
Yeah. Fail forward. I like that. Fail forward. That's a good title for a song or like an album.
You know, just dedicate the song to me like, Romy, fail forward.
Fail forward. Got it. Cool. So yeah.
That's really interesting. I'm glad that you went with your gut and your intuition. Like, this is happening. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. I had to because I believed in the song. I really believed in the song. And when I showed it to them, they liked it, but they just said, hey, maybe not for this album. And it's so funny because it's perfect. It's perfect on the album, you know?
No, and I've seen you perform it.
Yeah, oh my God, yes, you've seen me perform it live.
That's why I said sing along.
I know.
Yeah. And I do see the energy of the room. I see how excited people get. I do see them singing along, and it makes me so happy because you play a lot of cover music,
yes,
right, in your own way. But when you play your own, there's just like a different energy that flips, that there's so much excitement, and I get so excited because I love seeing people doing what they love,
their thing,
and their thing and what they're passionate about. Even if, for example, Vane, my friend Vane, her boyfriend loves music. He loves music. He's dabbled into music and all that stuff. And when I see him literally enjoying a song and just jam, and I'm just staring, I'm like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. I'm like looking at him a little too much, but just I'm enjoying so much seeing him enjoy it.
It sounds to me like you're jumping on his vibe and just riding it with him.
Yes,
that's
I'm just like,
yeah.
I love it. It's amazing. So I love to see when you perform that and see everybody really enjoying, because I know that gives you such a sense of fulfillment. Like, yeah, I'm the shit. Like going back to that,
exactly. I'm the shit. I tell everybody you need a little bit of Kanye. You need a little Kanye. You got to be a little Kanye sometimes. You know what I mean? You got to believe in yourself. And it's so funny because like a bad habit that I have, apart from performing my original stuff, like I MC events, I play by myself, acoustic, I play duo, trio, 4-piece, 5-piece. I play in wedding bands. I've done voiceover work for like commercials. So I kind of like have my little tentacles in anything creative. I've acted before. I used to be a drama teacher. We were talking before we started recording. I also used to teach salsa. I was a salsa instructor during high school, and I taught salsa lessons, and that's how I paid for like prom and my tuxedo and the corsage.
Dance salsa if I'm like tipsy or drunk, because I allow myself to be led. Other than before that, I'm just like, wait, where are we going?
You need to allow yourself to be that free all the time, you know. But
it's hard. To be in that feminine energy and to surrender. I'm working on it.
Keep working on it. What is it? Fail forward.
Fail forward.
Yeah.
Fail forward.
No, but it's funny talking about failing forward. Like I love my music, and I genuinely think that my music is good, like very good quality music. I don't think Miami or South Florida is the audience for the type of content that I create. Next summer, my main focus is to go on tour and leave Miami, play Philadelphia, North Carolina, New Orleans,
I'm gonna cry.
Washington. I'll come back. Miami will always be home.
No, I'm gonna cry because I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I'll come back. But I have this feeling in my bones, like it's in my bones, that the moment I leave Florida, that's when the ball is really gonna start rolling. You know?
Yeah.
And the problem that I have with myself that I need to keep myself in check is, like you were mentioning, I play a lot of covers. I never play it the way they're supposed to be done.
Never.
If you want to listen to Justin Timberlake, go on Spotify and listen to Justin Timberlake. Right now you're listening to Bryant Del Torro do his version of Justin Timberlake. If you don't like it, that's cool. That's your prerogative. But I can never be anything.
You're wrong, though.
No. I can never be anything. Of course. I can never be anything or anyone other than myself. I can't. You know, I get so busy worried about the audience and thinking, what does the audience want to hear? And like, okay, we got to keep this vibe. We got to stay on this tip, that I forget to play my originals. I forget, you know, sometimes I'll play a whole set and I won't play a single original. And thank God my bandmates, hey man, do one of yours, you know? And they remind me, especially my bass player, man. He always reminds me because he really believes in me. But yeah, I gotta remember that my stuff is good and my stuff is worthy of being played with songs that people know. So, yeah.
It is.
That's what's up.
Yes. So going back to country blues.
Yes.
So after I met you, I saw that you had posted that you perform on Thursdays at Copper Blues, and I'm like, wow, that's really close. I told Icy, let's go. One of my best friends, let's go see this guy. You're gonna love him. He's amazing. Yada 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 yada. We get there, and you're performing.
Cool.
And then all of a sudden, at 9 p.m., country starts happening. Yeah. And Icy and I love country music. That's like our number one. We were so in shock. We were thinking, what? The lights turned off. People start line dancing. I'm like. We were so shocked that this was happening and so excited at the same time.
Exactly.
We were hooked. We got Elsie, the artist, that's our friend. We got her to paint hats for us.
I remember, yeah.
We got our boots. We were ready. This is what we're doing. We started getting lessons.
Yeah, you guys came the next week decked out.
Yeah.
Like full Nash Vegas. Like, yeah.
We were not fucking around. We started getting lessons with Talon and it was just, we're doing this for real. We were just so happy. And I go whenever I don't have the kids or any clients or whatever. I try to make it because it makes me feel so good and I love it. I hadn't gone for a while. And the last time
that's okay.
Went, I didn't have time. But when I've gone, the last 2 times, I noticed that around 10 o'clock, they stopped playing country music. And they throw on Bad Bunny.
I know.
And I was very confused because it was until midnight. They were only open until midnight country. That's it, until midnight. What happened?
I can tell you the inside scoop. So for those of you who don't know, Copper Blues is one of the most popular bar/restaurant/live music venues in South Florida right now. Like they're killing the game. They promote as a rock and blues bar, hence Copper Blues. When you walk in, they have artwork on the walls of Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie, Tom Petty, Aretha Franklin, Mick Jagger. So it's very rock oriented. And there's the original one, if memory serves me right, is in West Palm Beach. Then they opened one in Phoenix, Arizona. And then the most recent one is here in Doral, Florida, in Miami-Dade County. Now, the one in West Palm plays a lot of like 90s hip hop, 90s alternative rock, classic rock, country. Because that audience wants that. But here in Doral, it's predominantly Venezuelan and Colombian. Okay? That is the audience that goes to Copper Blues because that is the predominant population of this area. So the reason I wanted you to bring it up is the DJ and I, our job, DJ Brian Lage, I love you. DJ Brian Lage and I, my band and the DJ, we have to create the atmosphere for country night. So my band starts at 6 p.m. and we play a little bit of everything. We play hip hop, R&B, because they open at 4. People are getting out of work. There's not a lot of people. Keep it very chill, very cool. Second set, we start to throw in a little country, but still not predominantly country night, because country night starts at 8 p.m. So our last set from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. is solely 100% country music. We were not a country band. I love country music. I grew up in Gainesville. I have family in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and in Greensboro, North Carolina. Love country music. My band, they have learned to love country music. So we started adding more country to the repertoire. After that, like you mentioned, the DJ starts playing only country and they start teaching line dances. The only thing, and this only happens in Copper Blues, we will be performing Chicken Fried or When It Rains It Pours or
Whiskey
Tennessee whiskey glasses or Tennessee whiskey, whatever the case. And somebody will put their phone in the air, right? Or they'll give something to the bartender to pass to the band and it says, "Play Bad Bunny."
Stop.
We're in the middle of performing. It's a bass player, a drummer, and a guitarist, myself / vocalist, singing, actual music, singing. "Play Bad Bunny. Play Bad Bunny." And the DJ has to spend the entire night swatting people away. And it's a cultural divide. It's a cultural clashing. Because you didn't know it was country night the first time that you went.
No. And when I first met you, you asked me, it's like, what do you listen to? And I'm like, I love country. Country's my favorite. I think that was an opening for you to tell me about this country night that you perform at.
I'm trying to remember, but I think when I first met you, they hadn't started country night yet.
No?
I don't think so.
I feel like I went right after, maybe a couple weeks.
I don't remember the timeline. Okay. But
I was just like, there was an opening there.
Yeah. Thanks for the invitation, Brian. Appreciate it. Thanks.
I had to go stalk you.
Yeah. That's like the person that tells you to come to the party. No. It's something chill. And then everybody's like glammed up and tutas en chanclas and like, oh, thanks for the warning. But it's just so funny because like they have a Latin night. They have Wednesday night. Copper Blues has something called Por Qué No?
And Saturdays too. Isn't Saturdays?
Saturdays, no. So Saturdays they have live music and the bands that they have are usually top 40 classic rock. So they'll do Guns N' Roses and Dua Lipa, and it's a mixture. And then the DJ plays everything. It's not just Latin. He'll play Madonna and then throw in Bad Bunny and then play Back That Ass Up and then he'll play Earth, Wind & Fire. You know, so it's open format. Okay. But it's very disheartening and it's very...
disrespectful.
I don't want to say disrespectful because it's...
I think so.
Because they don't know any better. And imagine going to Copper Blues on a Wednesday, right? And going, hey, this place plays Ozuna and Bad Bunny, bachata, no sé qué, whatever. And then you come the following week on a Thursday and you're like, what the hell is this? You know? So when people come up to me and request it, I say, hey, tonight's country night. We don't play that, but thank you. You know? But I really get upset when the people are rude and they go, ¿qué? I'm going to say it in Spanish. I'm like, ¿qué esta mierda? Quita esta vaina. Que la gente no le gustan esto. Pon música de verdad.
Mind you, everyone's wearing cowboy boots and decked out.
Right. But you know, it is what it is. And Copper Blues is doing a great job of clarifying and promoting this is country night.
Yeah.
But I think management has decided, hey, after 10:30, open format.
But that's not even enough time.
I agree. But yeah, those are the rules.
I was very shocked. I'm like, mira que linda yo wearing cowboy boots and I'm dancing to Bad Bunny.
Yeah. If you're going to dedicate yourself to having a specifically themed night, then fully dedicate. Because I'm pretty sure on Latin night, at 11 p.m., they don't go, baby, lock them doors and turn them lights down low. They don't do that. Oh. So why do it on country night? And I understand, again, you're in Doral. I get it. But man, do it. Dedicate it, you know? Yeah. And people, let me tell you, when we started country night originally, people drove from Davie. People came all the way from Kendall, from Homestead.
That's where I come from.
Exactly. Because Copper Blues has become the closest and the only country establishment in Dade County.
Right. I've never gone to Roundup because I'm like, that shit is very far.
You should though, because Roundup's awesome.
But I've never gone.
You should.
And I just, it's on my bucket list. I'll go at some point. But still, it's just my time. It's for me to drive all the way over there. It's just not gonna happen, and it hasn't happened. So when I found Cover Blues with Country Night,
this is closer to home. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 30 minutes away. 20, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe it's just tonight. And then I went again and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. They started doing that. And then I really wish they would fully commit. Because, like, for instance, when we play the last set, our set's about an hour. So that's maybe, give or take, I don't know, maybe like 10, 12 songs. And in those 10 or 12 songs, we'll play one non-country song. You know, we'll throw in Superstition, or we'll throw in, I don't know, Billie Jean, or just one to, like, you know, rest the country for a second. But yeah, we play Thomas Rhett, we play Morgan Wallen, we play, Dan and Shay. I do a lot of Dolly Parton for some reason. I'm absolutely obsessed with Dolly Parton.
People love her.
Yeah.
She's an icon.
Dolly Parton for president. But yeah, that's kind of like what I'm doing right now, is just trying to figure out musically my new identity as an artist, or the next evolution as an artist, and just playing around the city that I love. I play Doral, Wynwood, Coral Gables, Fort Lauderdale, Boca, Delray, Dania, West Palm Beach, you know, so.
You perform a lot. You work a lot.
Yeah, a little too much.
It was awesome because when I was at the beach, like a couple of weeks ago, I'm like walking down the street with my friend, and I hear you, and I hit reverse so fast. I'm like, wait a damn minute. Oh my God, it was so, but that was all the way in Broward.
Yeah, that was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, so you work a lot. What do you do for your self-care to recharge and take care of your mental health?
That has been very important to me lately. It's so funny because I did a podcast / workshop recently with Claudia Gonzalez, aka Cinevibes, and that was the conversation of the entire thing. And I noticed that I get burnt out. So, an example, I'll play 6 nights a week. And then on my day off, the last thing I want to do is go into my home studio and create. I don't want to, because the joke that I make is, you think somebody that works at Subway making sandwiches all day goes home and goes, you know what I'm going to make for dinner? I'm going to make myself a sandwich. No, you know? So something that I've been doing a lot is spending time with my family. Yesterday, I had the day off. 2 of our best friends, my girlfriend and I, my mother and father, we all went to the Yellow Green Market. And I had a blast. I had an absolute blast.
That's the one in Broward too, right?
Yeah, that's also
the one. I was just there
Broward.
last weekend.
Oh, I missed you. But yeah, spending time with my family, staying at home. I'm a big movie guy, so like we'll make food and then just sit down and watch a movie. The other thing that I do for self-care, especially for my vocals, because I sing so much, is during the day, I'm free. Unless I'm running errands or doing something like this with you, I'm at home doing domestic work, you know, like cleaning the house, gardening, whatever, with a cup of tea. I'm playing music in the background and I don't talk to anybody. If somebody calls me, I'll text, hey, what's up? And I just rest my voice. I'm in dire need of a vacation. Really need a vacation. But yeah, just kind of just be at peace with people who are important to me and love me. I surround myself with them. And alone. I love myself, and I need to love myself even more. So I spend a lot of time with myself, by myself.
You're around a lot of people, so
yeah.
You need that.
Oh, man. I was talking to my mom, because my mom is not a creative, so she doesn't understand certain things. Back in the day, I would go to a party, and the minute the DJ pressed play on a song, I never got off the dance floor. Ever. I would dance, I would socialize, da-da-da. Now we go to parties, and I'm the guy in the corner having a conversation with somebody. And my mom goes, ven, baila, disfruta. And my mom doesn't understand that my job, now that I turn my hobby into my paycheck, my passion into my paycheck, it is work. People think, oh, but you play songs. I go, it's not just playing songs. It's an exchanging of energies. So imagine Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, performing, talking to people, dancing, doing all this. And then let's say I have to have Saturday off because I have my cousin's wedding. They're going to play the same songs that I sing and listen to 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And then during my breaks, people come up and talk to me. Oh my God, do you know this song? And how long have you been doing this? And I have to have these conversations. And my social battery is drained. And I had to explain that to my mom. I go, that's why I disconnect. I'm alone at home, you know. My poor girlfriend, she's a law student, so she never goes out because she's studying to be a lawyer. So the few times that we go out, I don't want to go out because my job is to go out. So we've finally found a happy balance where I will go out with her because she needs to go out and de-stress. And she understands, damn, Bryant just played West Palm Beach on Friday and Saturday. Let's stay in on Sunday. Because he drove for an hour,
right,
performed for people, let him warm his own house, you know? And she's awesome for that.
That's
so
awesome. You really need that.
Yeah, you do. It's okay to disconnect. You know, I tell people it's okay to go to your island. You can't live there, but you can visit.
For me, it's like disconnect to reconnect. My thing is like after a couple months, I feel like the mountains call me. And that's when I go to North Carolina or whatnot. And
where do you go? Like Asheville, Boone?
Don't get me into Asheville. The last time Icy and I went to Asheville, you see all these things that say, oh, this place is in Asheville. All the nice places that you want to go hiking, all of that stuff is not in Asheville.
It's not.
They just promote it as Asheville, but it's not Asheville. Asheville, you go to the Biltmore and...
the university and then the main street.
Yeah, the main street where it's just...
I love Asheville.
The people there, it's just it was the weirdest vacation, but it was the funniest. We've never laughed so much, the things that happened to us on that trip. And it got to a point that we got what we needed, but we wanted to leave. We got snowed in and we're there for 2 more days.
Oh.
So the universe is like, no, you're going to stay here longer.
You wanted to relax? Relax.
Toma. But that's my thing. And I'm already feeling it now. The mountains are calling me, going hiking and just being in nature. And I love disconnecting my phone. Some people have a really hard time with not being on their phone. I'm great at it. Like, do not disturb is on a lot of the times.
If my job didn't have to utilize social media, I probably wouldn't have it.
But mine does too.
I know, because you and I are creatives and we promote, and that's the platform.
In April, I completely deactivated my social media account.
Really? I didn't notice.
Wow.
That's so funny.
For an entire month. I was just...
I didn't post anything the month of August. I didn't even post my schedule of where I was going to be. Because I was like, nobody cares. You know?
I care. I always check.
You care. But I'm saying...
Like, anywhere near that's not Copper Blues anywhere else. Because I know sometimes you play at Boogies, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I check sometimes. Yeah. But like 2 weeks ago, I disconnected my social media for a week. And then people think that there's something wrong. And I just really just don't want...
It's overwhelming.
...to talk to anyone. Yeah. I don't want to connect with anyone. I just want to be on my own. Since I was a little girl, I was always in my room by myself, listening to music and just being alone. So this interaction of interacting with people all the time, it is exhausting for me. So that's my way of self-care. When I feel I've gotten to that point, I just need to disconnect, or the mountains call and I just go hiking. There's something about being in nature and just...
Next time, instead of Asheville, go to Gatlinburg. Go to Tennessee.
I've been to Gatlinburg.
Oh, you've been? I love Gatlinburg.
I love Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
I went hiking there and I saw a bear. It was a baby bear, and we were hiking out. And everybody had just stopped. And we're like, what's going on? Like, why isn't anybody moving? And then I see a baby cub, and I'm like, oh, hell no. That means there's a mama bear around here somewhere. We waited it out a little bit, and then we finally made it out. But Gatlinburg is beautiful. Yeah. I love it. It is very busy because it's a very touristy area. But the mountains there...
It's incredible.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Gorgeous place. I love Gatlinburg.
Something that I don't know about you. Are you an only child, or do you have siblings?
I have a lot of siblings. Well, from my mom, I have an older sister and a younger sister. That's who I grew up with in my household.
Got it.
From my dad, I have another older sister, another older brother. I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. And then I have a stepsister.
Got it.
So it's a lot. But in my household, I grew up with 2 other sisters.
The reason I ask is because... you were mentioning like, oh, just I'm alone with my headphones. So you were alone by choice, and you're like, I need to disconnect because you had so many people around you all the time.
I grew up in a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
So that was my way to, and it was funny because music was my outlet. I used to have a notebook that I used to write down the lyrics to the songs.
Oh, wow.
So I used to get a tape player and I would record the songs. I would go back and I would listen to the song and write it in my notebook and just learn the songs that way, full of Spice Girls and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all of that. And I used to love alternative rock. I still do.
Yeah.
Like Matchbox 20 and all of that. So Alanis Morissette, that's what I grew up listening to most of the time. And it was very healing for me to do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes when my mind doesn't turn off, I just find myself in the car just not listening to music at all and just sitting in silence.
Oh, okay. That's another conversation. So when my girlfriend and I, we started dating, and anybody that comes to shows with me, you know, like, oh, Brian, I want to go with you and watch you play here. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. After my shows, unless it's a podcast or an audiobook, I drive in silence. And people don't understand. So I had to explain to my girlfriend, one of the first times I finish a gig, we get in the car and she cranks up the radio and I just turn it off. And she goes, what the hell? And I go, I don't need to be rude, but you need to understand that I just played music for 4 hours. Like, I'm good. I'm done. And she goes, no, but let's keep the party going. I go, no. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between casually listening and active listening. And she goes, what do you mean? And I go, okay. When you go out dancing, you're listening to music, right? But you're talking to your friends, and you're like, oh my God, I love this song. And maybe you're in the middle of a conversation, there's music playing, but you're not paying attention. When you're on stage, I'm listening to the tempo of the drummer. I'm listening to what chords the bass player's hitting. I'm listening to my guitar and my vocals to make sure I'm in key. I'm in intonation. The drummer, let's say the drummer does something different. I'm performing in the middle of singing and he'll go, and I turn around and go, bro, I heard that. Because I'm actively listening. And active listening compared to casual listening, it hurts so much more. Like, it's so much more tiresome.
Yeah, your brain gets tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm the boring guy after a concert, not one of my concerts. I get in the car and they're like, thank you for listening to NPR. This is All Things Considered, and we'll be right back at you. Like that's what I listen to. Or if not, it's like an hour of...
I was just going to ask you, but can you listen to jazz?
Jazz.
Because I do that. That's what I do. Like, I'll put on jazz music, and I'll just listen to jazz.
Yeah. I usually put on... My favorite jazz artist is John Coltrane. I think he's one of the greatest jazz musicians / musicians of all time. But I usually find myself going to Kind of Blue or Right Around Midnight by Miles Davis. Because it's smooth. It's like post-bop, which is just... You know, like, it's that chill jazz. Because the other thing I don't want to hear is like...
Yes, correct. I love chill jazz too.
Yeah.
Okay, we're there.
Lo-fi's been my tip lately too.
Yeah?
Like when I'm home, self-care with my tea or my coffee, just lo-fi in the background, you know? So.
You know, for me, whenever I'm working on a project or I'm studying or painting, I hate painting, but I love edging, which is a weird fact about me.
Wait. What's the difference?
Well, when you're painting a wall with the roller,
Got it.
That's not my thing. But if you need me to edge the corners without blue tape, perfect straight line,
interesting.
I'm your girl.
Okay.
But I like to listen to classical music.
That's awesome.
And it just gets me in a zone and I'm in the best mood and I'm just so happy to be fucking edging or building something or working with my hands.
I listen to classical music all the time. You know something that I came across the other day, and for some reason it was absolutely soothing? I found an album on Spotify where it's all the Beatles music, but in lullaby form.
Oh shit! I think I've heard they have The Office too. I don't know if you're an Office fan.
Yeah,
they have The Office lullaby.
Like the actual theme song. Oh, I gotta hear it.
I used to play it for my kid.
What?
Yeah,
that's awesome. But yeah, I lately I've been listening to like the Beatles lullaby and stuff like that. So
yeah, I love it. I love listening to all different types of music, but sometimes I get very boring, and you're gonna be in the car listening to just jazz.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I listen to a lot of like murder podcasts. I love
Murder mystery.
Crime junkies.
Okay.
Crime junkies and stuff like that.
Did you ever hear the apology line?
Which one's that one?
So,
by the way, I love that we're on a podcast talking about the podcast that we listen to. It's very like podcastception.
So I was listening to this podcast when I was doing one of the rounds of 75 Hard, entertaining myself when I'm walking. And basically, this is like true story that this guy created this line in New York where people would call the number and they would confess things, right? Things awesome. That they've done to people or like they were sorry about or whatever. But then like psycho serial killers started calling and leaving messages. And
it's completely anonymous. So
yes. And there was like this whole thing with this one guy. I don't want to ruin it for you, but you definitely should listen to it.
You got to text it to me. Yeah. I'll listen to it right. The moment we're done with the podcast, I'm getting in my car and like, which one did she say?
Yeah, it's awesome. So, like I mentioned, I had your uncle here last week.
Yeah, let's talk about my uncle.
And
Uncle Jeff.
Yes, he's amazing. He's amazing. Well, we talked about how him and I have that connection when we met. And I've known him for years. He was looking at pictures of Ian. Mm-hmm. He's almost 5. And the last training I did with him, I was pregnant. Like, so pregnant.
Wait, so you hadn't seen him?
No, I've seen him because he's gone to Omenbine. And I've seen him. One day we were doing the corporate run. Mm-hmm. Even though I wasn't with DCF anymore, I still do stuff with them because I have a really good relationship with everybody that I worked with. And he was walking out of the building with his wife. And that was the last time I had seen him there.
Tia Olgi.
Yeah. So we're on Facebook and friends. And he's known my mom for years because my mom worked at DCF as well. But he didn't know that was my mom.
That's insane.
So when he saw our picture together on Facebook, he was like, wait a minute. Then I had invited him to my birthday party. Okay. And he couldn't make it. And he wrote to me to apologize. And he's like, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it, but I saw that you had my nephew performing.
What a small world.
And I was like, your Hispanic nephew? Or like, that's really your nephew? He goes, no, that's my nephew. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's such a small world because him and I have such a beautiful connection. And I was like, okay, that's it, Brian. You're my soprimo.
And it's so funny because Uncle Jeff for me is... I want to say he's like a moral compass. Like, he's such a good person that he and I have conversations about like really strong moral issues that are happening in our society today. And he's definitely kind of like the source. Like I check it against him and I'm like, how do you feel? What do you think? And I'm like, okay, cool. Me too. Yeah. You know, just because everybody's swerving left, sometimes you got to swerve right. Yeah. Just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's right, you know? Mm-hmm. But let me tell you a little brief story. I feel like this podcast is going to be 3 hours long.
It's okay.
A brief story. So when my mother came from Venezuela to live in the U.S., she was fortunate enough to stay with a Cuban family, okay? This family adopted her into their family, and they became her surrogate family. From Venezuela, she came to stay with this family. She met my dad here in the U.S. They fell in love. The lady that I consider my grandmother is Jeff's wife's mom. So her name is Olgi. That's my aunt. Olgi's mom took care of my mom. So Olgi and my mom are sisters. So I was born, Jeff and Olgi saw when my mom was pregnant. They were at the baby shower. We lived in Gainesville, so I didn't spend a lot of time with them. But when we came back, we started seeing them a lot more. And that's my family. Like, I was born here. A large majority of my blood relatives now are scattered after the Venezuelan exodus across the world. But they were predominantly in Venezuela in my youth. But my family is Jeff, Olgi, Vanito, Rebecca, like that, though, that's my family, you know?
It still blows my mind.
Yeah.
It still blows my mind.
So when he says, like, that's my nephew, like, yo, that's my uncle. Okay. Oh, but like political? No, that's my uncle, period. End of conversation.
Right.
You know, so.
No, but you know how people are like, oh, that's my cousin, but they're just really good friends.
No,
you guys are actually family. But that's what I needed to clarify because it was so shocking to me that was your actual uncle, which is really funny.
He might not, like, we might not have the same blood coursing through our veins, but that doesn't matter to me.
Well, I have an uncle like that too, that he's not blood related to me at all. He was married to my aunt. Mm-hmm. But since I was little, he was always
There.
My uncle, like he stepped in when I moved down here. My dad was still in Jersey. Like he stepped in when he needed to. He watched out for me. I spent every summer with them, with him. And when I think of uncle, I don't think about my mom's brothers that are blood related. I don't think about, yes, I don't think about any of my other uncles. I think about him, and we're not blood related at all. That's my uncle.
Man, family is a very loose term.
Yes.
Very loose term. Yes. Before we started, you were talking about XFactor. What did
I was gonna
what did my uncle tell you about XFactor?
Yeah, I was. So before we got on, I was like, I recently found out that you were on XFactor.
You stalker.
So he just mentioned that you went on there. So you want to tell me a little bit about that story?
Okay, so it's really funny because to this day, I'll be performing and people come up to me, oh my God, you should try out for The Voice and you should try out for American Idol. And I have to sit there and tell them, it's all a lie. Those shows are rigged. It's all a farce. And I feel like the Wizard of Oz, pulling the curtain and you see all the machinery and the mechanics. So I tried out for XFactor, okay? There's like 8 different levels before you get on TV. So you audition, they let you pass, then you gotta perform for like vocal coaches, and then they let you pass, and then you gotta go to the producers, and then the executive producers, and then they decide, okay, cool, he's TV ready, right? Let's say there's 7 levels before getting on TV. I got to like the 6th level before getting on TV, and I sang, and they go, hey man, absolutely fantastic, you're great, what's your story? And at that time, I was like, I don't know, 21, maybe 20, 21. And I was like, no, nothing. I'm a young guy. I live with my parents, going to Nova Southeastern University. Very blessed individual. Like, life is good, just...
No drama.
No drama. Cool. And the executive producer looked at me in the eyes and he goes, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I go, yeah. You are the best male vocalist we've heard probably this week. Hands down, the best male singer from Miami that we've heard this week. But we're going to go with this guy because his daughter has cancer. And that's easier to sell. So then he told me, when you live a little more, when you got a little more life experience, come back. They said it to my face.
Stop.
They said it to my face. They were like, you're by far way more talented than this guy, but this guy has a story, and we can swing that. We can sell that. So after that, years later, I got the opportunity to work on La Voz, which is The Voice, but in Spanish. So my job was to record vocals, backup vocals, right? So when they film the show, they have the singers and they have some musicians, but most of it's pre-recorded in a studio, which is actually here in Doral. And I remember we were recording and the producer goes, there's a talk box. Hey, Bryant. Yeah, what's up? Listen, we need you to really be on point with the vocals for this song because this is the girl that's going to win this week. Okay, so these vocals need to be tight, super good. Okay. And then I would watch the show, and that was the girl that the people
voted for.
Which is bullshit, but the people voted for. So once I got to see behind the curtain, those shows are 1,000,000% rigged. They already know who's going to win. And it's for entertainment. And I don't like those shows because they promote what I call vocal gymnastics, which is like Christina Aguilera. Not all singers sing like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So...
I feel like The Voice is a little bit better when it comes to that, though.
No, I completely disagree. I think it's the worst offender.
Really?
The Voice is the worst.
You know who I love that was on there? Melanie Martinez. Do you know who that is?
I do not.
She's fucking amazing.
So here's a funny thing. You ready for this? Let's go American Idol. Name all the people who won American Idol that went on to be famous.
No, Kelly Clarkson.
That's 1.
Carrie Underwood.
2.
And then I don't know anybody else.
Okay.
I know there's more.
There's more.
But
there's more.
I didn't really watch.
Ruben Studdard. What's her name?
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
I hate how she sings.
Well, okay. You don't like how she sings. Some people do. Okay. Those are people that won.
Cringe.
Those are people that won. Ready? Can you name people that were on American Idol that didn't win that became famous? Jennifer Hudson, Daughtry.
Oh, that's right.
You see what I mean? Like,
that season.
Yeah, there's people. Clay Aiken. There's people that come from those shows. Can you name anybody from The Voice?
Melanie Martinez. She didn't win.
But did she become? Is she on the radio right now? Is she?
Well, she has music out that's really good, and
The Voice does not produce stars. If you focus, if you pay attention, American Idol has its judges, but they focus on the contestants. The Voice is focused on the judges. They don't give a shit about the contestants.
This is true. I never thought of it like that.
The show is, these are the judges.
And their work and how they're going to move forward.
Yeah. And again, anybody that is listening to this podcast, I challenge you to write me on social media and correct me if I'm wrong. But The Voice has episodes where the judges perform.
They do.
I don't remember that on American Idol.
No.
American Idol doesn't do that. Because the focus is on the contestants, not the judges. Usher can already sing. Alicia Keys is one of the best female vocalists we have right now.
It's all about entertainment. And they collaborate together and they perform.
Exactly. Why the hell are the judges performing? They're not the ones being judged. So yeah, so like that's my story about XFactor and stuff like that. And I've never to this day went back. Because I'd rather not make it than make it through those means. And a lot of the people who win, for instance, I had the privilege of opening for Philip Phillips. Do you remember Philip Phillips?
Sounds familiar.
Raspy voice, acoustic guitar guy, super talented. I had the chance to open for him. And it was an incredible opportunity. And he was such a humble human being that he was in our back room, green room, talking. And I was like, hey man, like, can I be candid? Can we talk? And we talked about American Idol because that was the show that he won. And he goes, that was the worst goddamn experience of my life. He's like, I found out the title of my album and the cover and the picture and everything on Good Morning America because they put it on the screen and they told it to me. But he has no creative control. And it was an eye opener, and he said that he regretted making it through those means, you know. So it was a cautionary tale, and I took it to heart. So no, you will probably never see me on The Voice or American Idol.
I tried out for American Idol.
You did? How was that? How was that experience? That cattle call.
I did it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was super hungover. Like I had no business of being there, but I went and I actually, I was with Evie from Power 96 and we were just there. Like it was fun. It was just like this fun thing that we did. I wasn't.
How are you hungover? Because that thing's like 6 hours, 10 hours. And
no, I didn't make it past the first thing. I couldn't even sing.
Right, but you still have to like.
We were hanging out in the line. We were totally having a great time.
Exactly, because it's a cattle call. Like you're in line. They give you a number. You're 537, you know, like.
And Evie had like her cowbell. Every time on the morning show, she always used to play like with a cowbell, and she fucking went and performed with that shit. It was so funny. It was so funny. Yeah, we just had a good time, but.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've stuck around for this long, I'm going to give you a little snippet of what not to do with musicians. Okay? This is something that ever since I became a professional musician, solely living off music. Number one, if there's somebody performing, wait until a break to talk to them. There's nothing that pisses off a musician in the middle of performing and somebody goes, hey, on the side of the stage, like the bass player or the guitarist or the keyboardist, play this song, do this one. I'm the singer. So I'm in the middle of playing guitar and singing and they come up to me to make requests. You know, pass me a note and I'll read it during the break. Or wait until there's a lull, right? And say what you need to say. But do not interrupt in the middle of a performance. You know, you won't go to the Lady Gaga concert and go up to the stage and be like, excuse me, Gaga, can you play this one next? So don't do it to somebody that isn't at Gaga's level. That's number one. Number two, if you see that a band is only playing country music right? If they are a country band only playing country music, don't ask for some obscure random thing. So for instance, I'll be playing country, somebody, oh, play Bad Bunny, play Bad Bunny. I'm like, oh my God. The weirdest one is I was playing Earth, Wind & Fire, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Usher, and this was an old lady, this was years ago. She comes up to me, she's like, excuse me, she has an accent. There is a song that was very popular in France in 1960s from this artist named Jacques, whatever. Would you happen to know that song?
You did that very well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey. So the lady comes up to me, and mind you, I'm playing predominantly R&B, and she goes, there's this artist from the 60s that had a #1 hit in France. Lady, do you think I can pull off a song from the 60s in French when I haven't sang a single French song? If she would have came up and said, I'm a big fan of the Beatles. Can you play a song from the Beatles? I'd be like, oh, the Beatles, yeah. Like the most obscure random shit ever. And then my #1 pet peeve, #1 ever of all time. I think I'm a nice guy. I think I do a very good job of interacting politely with an audience. Don't ever fucking ask for Freebird. That is the most disrespectful thing you can ever do. Play Freebird! Play Freebird! Do you know what Freebird is?
No, I was going to ask you, what is it?
Okay. Freebird is a song by Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner is the band that does Sweet Home Alabama.
I saw them open up for Kid Rock. I know who they are.
What?
Yes.
They opened up for Kid Rock?
Yes.
Oh my God, it should be the other way around. But anyway, so Leonard Skinner has this song called Freebird. It's a great song. I love the song. It's great, okay? Sorry. But the original recording of the song is about 10 minutes on the album. There's about 10 to 13 minutes, something like that. And then there's 2 live versions of the song. That's 15 and 17 minutes long. The song starts really slow. I'm free as a bird. Na, na, na. And then it starts to build. And at the end, it's like, and it gets like crazy. And there's like an organ solo and 15 guitar solos, drums, keyboards, bass. It's crazy. When the first ever Guitar Hero video game came out, that was the song at the end of Guitar Hero to win the game. Okay? And then I think the one after that was The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Okay? But that was like the boss level. You beat Freebird, you won Guitar Hero. Okay? Every frat douchebag that has like 4 White Claws in him suddenly thinks he's funny and will yell out in the middle of a performance, play Freebird. It is such a disrespectful, arrogant thing to do. Because #1, it's a 15 to 17 minute song. The band has a keyboardist, an organist, percussion, drums, bass, 3 guitar players, like a bunch of stuff. Okay? And I tell people it's the equivalent to telling a woman, show me your breast. Oh, I wasn't going to do it, but now that you yelled it at me, of course. No woman, except for maybe at Mardi Gras and Spring Break.
Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah, Girls Gone Wild. Except for like those instances, a woman has never reacted positively to a man disgracefully requesting, show me your tits. So don't tell a musician, play Freebird. I'm not going to do that. We're a 4-piece band. F you. You know what I mean? Like, that's so disrespectful. And they think it's funny. And there's been moments where my social battery is drained and I no longer have the ability of a filter.
To be nice.
And I've berated audience members for over a minute for doing that. I have stopped my show, pointed the guy out, and told him, you're the guy that goes home alone at night because you think you're funny and women think you're stupid and annoying. Go close your tab and go home because you're ruining everybody's night.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine you being that way.
For me to get to that level, it's because like I've heard every day for a week, play Freebird, play Freebird, play. It's such a stupid request because you're asking an almost impossible task because you know it's almost impossible.
Right.
You know?
You're being a douche.
You're being a douche. You're being a douche. So please, to the audience that's listening to this incredible podcast, don't ever yell, play Freebird, unless you're at a Leonard Skinner's concert, because they're the band that, and my band and I, we've been thinking about like learning it just to surprise people, but it's such a daunting task.
Right. That takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it really does.
To be nonstop for that long.
It really does. I've only ever played it once, and the guy yelled it out, and I go, give us each $100 and we'll play it. And the guy pulled out his wallet and tipped each one of us $100. I was like, all right, guys, we're playing Freebird. Here we go. Ready? We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. I think we did it. We took a break. We listened to it. We looked at the chords and we're like, dale, we'll try, so. Yeah, tricks of the trade. Don't talk to me while I'm singing, and don't ever yell Freebird or I'll kick you in the face.
And when you play alone, you're like one-man band.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was one of the reasons why you completely blew my mind. Because you're one-man band and you're so fucking amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so what she means by one-man band is Ed Sheeran is the one. I
don't want to be a one-man
band. I play that song, by the way.
I know.
So Ed Sheeran was the one that made it popular, but there was a performer back in like 2001, I think, 2001, called Katie Tunstall. She's Australian, and she was the first one to ever use a loop pedal. So for those of you who don't know what a loop pedal is it's a pedal that's on the floor, connected to your guitar and your vocals, sometimes, whatever, and you record. So let's say I just record, and I hit the record button, and then play. And then the continues, right? Then I'll play the bass. Let's make this fun. Give me the beat. Give me the... Go for it.
I don't know how to beatbox.
Just... Exactly. Don't stop. Keep going. It's okay.
Can't do that.
It's for educational purposes. So that keeps going, and then I do... Exactly. Right. So now I have the beatbox that you did in the bass, and I just keep adding. So I don't need a band, because I am recording all the pieces to make it sound fully produced, So that really helped me out, because I started doing that before the pandemic, like a couple years ago. And let me tell you, during quarantine, I can plug in my equipment into a computer, and I was doing Zoom birthday parties and Zoom conferences. And one of the greatest things that I'm very proud of myself for being a part of is I got to play for the nurses in California and New York.
Wow.
So they would take a television screen, put one TV in the cafeteria, one TV in the nursing station, and another TV, I think, in the break room. And they told the nurses, hey, we're going to have live music for you guys. And it was awesome to see the nurses on Zoom protecting and serving the people of wherever they were. And I was able to at least bring them a little bit of joy. And it's so funny. I'll never forget it, especially in California. I forget what hospital it was, but you'd see the nurses running around and doing stuff. And every so often they'd pause and go, thank you, I love that song. And then keep going. Or I would finish a song and they would like, okay, we need 10 cc's of this. Make sure to... Thank you so much. I love that song. Thank you. Okay, guys, we need this. Or sometimes they'd be like, hey, do you know any Michael Jackson? And then I'd play Michael. And it was cool, because as a musician, what we do isn't as important as doctors and teachers, educators. Like those are real jobs, firefighters, stuff like that. But if I can be those 2 to 3 minutes of escapism and entertain you during a hard time, that's all I'm able to do. So I'm just going to do what I know how to do. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional because it was awesome. That's what I did. That's how I provided. And it was really cool to see the nurses at work, So it was really cool. I'm really proud of myself for doing that.
You're such a beautiful soul.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm really grateful to know you.
Thank you. No, likewise. And we've become friends. Yeah. Like you and I are friends,
yes.
So, but yeah, I just want to keep providing my brand of feel-good music. And I love that I've served my city, and I love that I've gained recognition and respect from people from my city, but I got to spread my wings, and I need to go.
Thank you so much, Brian, for coming on today and sharing your story and who you are and all the wonderful things that you're doing. And not knowing what you're going to do, which is so great. What you've done. Where can people find you?
First of all, thank you for having me. And it's so funny because you mentioned this a while ago, and now we're here, so I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Yeah, not all that wander are lost. I'm just wandering right now, but I'm not lost. And if you guys want to keep in touch, Del Toro, Deltoro Bryant. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's my last name and my first name. But again, Bryant, Bryant, just like Kobe, and Del Toro, Deltoro, like the insurance company or the director or the actor. So yeah, you can keep in touch. I'm not unattainable yet, guys. I'm not unattainable. If you write me, I will write back.
And when you do become unattainable, you better keep me in your favorites list.
Duh.
My message always goes through.
No, listen, we'll do this again once, I reach the top or whatever. And by then you'll have sponsors and you'll be like, this is brought to you by Better Health.
It'll be video. I was talking to Camilo earlier, which is crazy because you know Camilo too, which is the one that he edits my podcast. But
okay.
Camilo and I have been, Camilo Rafael Sierra.
Oh my God, yes. Okay,
so,
yeah.
You're looking a little lost.
Yeah.
But him and I have known each other since I was 16 years old.
Oh my God.
We were best friends.
How did you and I not meet before? Like, we know all the same people.
Divine timing.
It's insane.
Divine timing. We were meant to meet when we did. But I was telling him today, we're going to have to work on video soon.
That's the next step?
Yeah.
That's the next step?
I just, I'm not very girly, so that means I'm going to have to,
That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. You be you. There's an audience for who you are and what you do. And your job is to find that audience,
right.
or create the means for that audience to find you.
Yeah.
But
I'll brush my hair.
You don't have to brush your hair. It doesn't matter. If you want to look good on camera, brush your hair. But you were talking about the loop pedal, and you were talking about what I do with the looping and the videos. I think my main focus, which I've been avoiding, and people have been telling me for years, is to up my YouTube game and post my covers of songs on YouTube. So I think I'm going to focus on that in addition to the original content that I'm working on.
I think that'll be great.
Yeah, which sounds like Big Ray.
That'll be great. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. It was awesome.
Me too.
If you enjoyed this episode, leave a review, share with someone, and remember, guys, it's not all love and light.